What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Coppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective, and I'm here for the news. And here today, we're going to be going over several clips, starting out with Mark Robinson, the Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, who was caught on an internet porn site making salacious comments. We're going to be going over this Donald Trump and Kamala Harris race for the White House is starting to heat up. Obviously, we're only 5 weeks out before we choose the next president of the United States. We're also going to go over the mayor of New York has been indicted. We have Israel launches more airstrikes and several other clips we're going to be diving into. But let's get started with Mark Robinson. There's a reason why I'm apolitical. There's no doubt about that. I always say all these politicians behind the scenes are the same. They're all wicked human beings. Now, are there politicians who go into politics and they actually want to do good? Yeah, but it's so corrupt that there's no way you can stay clean. It's like crawling through a sewer in an all-white outfit expecting to come out with no dirt on you, with no shit on you. It's borderline impossible. So, but let's take a look at this first clip of the day. Mark Robinson, Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina.
WBTV newsroom right now, more fallout coming from that CNN investigation into North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson.
WBTV confirming minutes ago that the top 4 staffers in the Lieutenant Governor's office have resigned. Chief Investigative Reporter Nick Oxner is here live with these breaking details. Nick?
Yeah, Caroline, John, I confirmed the departures of Robinson's now former Chief of Staff, myself, Brian Lebecki. We got off the phone, we've been texting just in the last 10 minutes or so. That he and 3 other top aides in his official state office have all resigned. Lebecki, Communications Director John Waugh, Policy Director Jonathan Harris, and Nathan Lewis, Director of Government Affairs, have all resigned their posts in the Lieutenant Governor's office. Resignation.
And when you see all these people who have resigned from his campaign staff, that's like having a football team with no coaches. I mean, you might be the head coach, but if you don't have a defense coordinator, offense coordinator, linebacker coach, equipment people, you need everybody to run a campaign. And once all these people resign, you basically out there, you're dead in the water. There's no doubt about that.
Just days after the top 4 staffers resigned from Robinson's campaign staff, too, leaving Robinson effectively without top aides in either his campaign or his official office. Now, this fallout comes after a CNN investigation broke last Thursday that found Robinson made racist and anti-Semitic comments on the chat board of a porn website.
So he was on a porn website. He referred to himself as a black Nazi. I mean, that's disturbing on so many levels, considering he's a black man. But it's a reason why that he was so beloved in the Republican Party. He looked at himself as a slave. There's no doubt about that. He's one of these people who you would call a house nigga. And it's interesting that he would take on this political stance considering how pro-Israel Donald Trump is. And he's a Republican who supports Trump. I've seen him talking at several rallies. So for him to say he called himself a black Nazi, that goes to show how disturbed this man truly is. That's sick on so many levels.
Including comments that supported slavery, and one post that said, quote, "I'm a black Nazi." Now, the Republican Governors Association has withdrawn its ad supporting Robinson in the state. Several governors have rescinded their endorsements of Robinson. But neither Donald Trump nor his running mate, J.D. Vance, have taken a firm position. Trump has just been silent, even as Robinson has been absent from 2 campaign events in Wilmington on Saturday and Mint Hill just earlier today. But watch how J.D. Vance responded when I asked him about Mark Robinson at a rally on Monday.
Nick Oxner, WBTV. I want to ask you about Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. The Lieutenant Governor was with you on stage, with you in...
Here's my view on the Lieutenant Governor. First of all, what he said or didn't say is ultimately between him and the people of North Carolina. The people of North Carolina...
Do they know if he said this or not? Absolutely. Because in their world, you have to vet very thoroughly. You have to, that means investigate. You have to vet and investigate these people very thoroughly. It's so easy for somebody in the intelligence agency to track which IP address this came from, so they know exactly who did it and if he said it or not. And 100% allegedly he said this. There's no doubt about that. That's why everybody's backtracking, resigning, and he's losing support from all type of different governors across the country and the Republican Party.
They're going to make that decision. Now, look, I've seen some of the statements. I haven't seen them all. Some of them are pretty gross, to put it mildly. Mark Robinson says that those statements are false, that he didn't actually speak them. So I think it's up to Mark Robinson to make his case to the people of North Carolina that those weren't his statements, and I'm going to let him make that case.
And the Trump campaign was also silent in my response to questions about Robinson today, asking them directly whether they supported Mark Robinson as the candidate for president. We should know held his event at a manufacturing facility owned by a company that had also hosted Robinson, owned by a man who made NASA contributions.
Wow, so let's be real clear on this. Earlier, the campaign staff members had resigned, many of them, but this is separate. This is the lieutenant governor's office.
Yes. So, top 4 staffers of both the campaign and official office.
All right, Nick, thank
he's
you.
done.
We're going to send things over now to Jamie Bull in the...
Yeah, he's finished. Like I said before, this is why it doesn't pay to be a man worshiper or put all your stock in human beings. Because especially from the distance where we from our couches and our living rooms and our homes, we don't know these people. We have no idea what they're into, what they're doing behind the scenes, and who they actually, their morals and values and who they actually are. So as you can see, he's a complete degenerate. There's no doubt about that. And now let's take a look at this. Mark Robinson recovered from second-degree burns. And I'm pretty sure he's recovered from second-degree burns, considering the heat is on his ass right now. And everybody's leaving him really fast.
Breaking news this morning, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, the Republican candidate for governor, is recovering after he was burned at a campaign event. Here's what we know about this incident this morning. Robinson was rushed to the hospital late last night following a campaign event in Mount Airy. That's according to a spokesperson for his campaign. Now, Robinson was treated for second-degree burns. According to the Washington Post, Robinson burned his hand while leaning against a truck.
He might have burned his hands on them internet porn sites. Look, do I believe it burned his hand? 50-50, maybe. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But is there a chance that they using this to try to get some of the heat off of his ass? There's no doubt about that. But if he did get burned, did he deserve it? 100%. He had it coming. But this guy is obviously a degenerate. Calling himself a black Nazi on a porn site is absolutely baffling.
Are working to independently confirm this information. A spokesperson did tell us, however, Robinson was in good spirits last night. He was attending the Mayberry Truck Show when this happened. It was his 4th campaign event of the day. We will be sure to keep you updated about this story as we learn more on air and online.
Well, obviously, Mark Robinson is a fat, buck-broken clown. If you hear him talk, he does have a preacher's-like speaking voice where he can actually relay a decent message. But if you have no morals and values, the message is really empty. So, yeah, he talks a good game, but obviously he doesn't live any of the thing that he's talking about. All the morality and shit that he tries to stand on, obviously it's a joke. And this is why when you see black people in politics, you don't have to support that head over heels. You just don't. It doesn't matter about skin color when it comes to politics, because in the end, white people run all of the politics, whether it be the deep state, whether it be the FBI, CIA, NSA. I don't care what you call it. They run all that shit from top to bottom. So if you a nigga, you just a cog. You like a spark plug in the car. You not the engine. You not nothing that's where if we can't if we need you, we can't replace you. We can easily replace a spark plug. There's no doubt about that. And they'll find another buck broken nigga easily to replace Mark Robinson. Let's take a look at this. Race for the White House. We 5 weeks out, y'all. Harris versus Trump. Let's take a look at this.
Good afternoon. Foreign affairs are front and center in the race for the White House as Ukraine's President Zelensky visits the U.S. During his meeting with Vice President Harris, she warned of the dangers his country could face if former President Trump is elected.
There are some in my country
who would instead force Ukraine to give up large parts of its sovereign territory. Mr. Trump meets with Zelensky later today. He's been critical of the billions of dollars the U.S. has provided to Ukraine.
And President Zelensky of the Ukraine was a former comedian, which makes this whole thing a joke. You can tell how they choose and pick these people and put these people in place. Every time you see Zelensky, all of a sudden we're giving billions and billions and billions of dollars to the Ukrainians, to a war that's never ending. So it seems like a phony-ass hustle. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, I do agree with Trump. On certain things I do agree with Trump on. There's no doubt about that shit. Some of this shit is just ridiculous. How much money are we going to get to Ukraine?
But contends he wants the war to end.
I want to say it was millions of people are dead. Millions more than they even think about. And it's not my fight, but it is a fight to save humanity.
The former president is blasting his political opponent's strategy on another key issue, immigration.
Kamala Harris will be visiting the southern border that she has completely destroyed.
While at the southern border today, Harris plans to highlight Trump's role in nixing a bipartisan security bill.
He killed a bill that would have actually been a solution because he wants to run on a problem.
And let me say this. Hold on.
Both.
Does Kamala Harris actually run the border? And is it her decision whether we let illegal immigrants in or out? Absolutely not. She's the face of it. She takes all the heat for it. But this is a government both on the right and the left to let these people in. And all they're doing is playing good cop, bad cop. Don't ever forget that. This is just good cop, bad cop. It's the oldest trick in the book. They're flying all these people in. Yes, there are governors who go, we don't want these illegal aliens in, and such, and this, that, and the third. But in the end, there's no doubt about it, you guys. The government of the United States want illegal immigrants in here. There's no doubt about that. That don't mean every single person. But I'm talking about the people who matter and make the decisions and allow for this to happen. They want it to happen. Kamala's just the face of it. There's no doubt. I'm not trying to let her off the hook, but I always be honest. That's why I'm apolitical, so I can tell the truth. I don't like to get in here and be some stomping for the Republicans and stomping for the Democrats. I stomp for the truth.
Candidates are seeking to sway voters in blue wall states. NBC News spoke with some of them.
I feel like it's just Kamala Harris is like a step in the right direction, even if it is like a small step.
And I mean, Trump is not perfect, but at least with his presidency, we know what that would look like. The economy was in a much, much better state.
Americans are keeping a close eye on where each candidate stands with less than 40 days until Election Day.
Yeah, so like I said, they said 40 days. Time is ticking, but Kamala Harris is not really, I mean, maybe she's okay with it, don't get me wrong, but it's not her ultimate decision. Are you kidding me? You think you're going to let a biracial Indian Jamaican woman let in millions of illegal immigrants into the United States without the government and the deep state and the Pentagon, and I'm talking about all the groups of the United States on it together? You got to be out your goddamn mind. Let's take a look at this. Just in, Trump's react to bombshell ICE report. Let's take a look. Well, let me rewind it.
Not quite. No, these are tough people. They love our country, but you need them. But for the first time ever, we have specific numbers that we just released. And it's about the people that crossed the border illegally under Kamala Harris. That she's even running is frankly ridiculous.
What Donald Trump is saying, if you read between the lines, her running and not Joe Biden, and I'm pissed. Because Joe Biden was a layup, and now I'm actually in a small fight. Do I think Donald Trump still has an edge? Absolutely, especially in electoral. Now, obviously, the overall vote for, percentage, I think he's behind by like 4 percentage points, but that's the grand total of all the votes. But this is we vote on electoral college, so electoral college, I think he's still winning in all the key swing states that he needs to win in right now.
That's not a president. That's not a president. She went to the border today because she wanted to see if she's getting killed on the border. and she went to the border. This was a bad day because somebody just released the numbers that came out through ICE. According to this brand new data, never seen before, over 13,099 convicted murderers have crossed the border and are free to roam and kill in our country. These are convicted murderers. These are people that were in jail. Now, I've been talking about this for 3 years. When I heard they were opening up the border, 3.5 years.
Let me say this. Is that smart for the other countries to release all their murderers and what they call the R word and all of the criminal aspects of their community and flood them into America? Is that smart for them? Absolutely. It's ridiculous for us to have to take it all on, but obviously they're in cahoots with these governments. That's why I say they're all in cahoots together. They would have to be. The United States is too powerful to take all your criminals. Why would we take all your criminals? It makes no sense unless we want all your criminals. So that's why I say sometimes you just have to use common sense. Come out of the fog of the politicians, what they're saying, and come into reality. The United States has the greatest intelligence apparatus, the greatest military. We have jets, drones. We have everything that you could possibly ever need to keep these people out, but yet we letting them all in. And is this true? Absolutely. ICE released a report today that they were letting in murderers and rapists and all type of child molesters, everything you can think of, the creme de la creme of the criminals.
I said, if they open the border, because I know the people on the other side, and they're smart, savvy people, you know, they're at the top of their game. Our leaders are not at the top of their game at all. They never were, actually. But our leaders are not. These are smart people. And these are countries from all over the world, 13,000, more than 13,000. Convicted murderers have been let out of jail, and they're roaming our streets, their country all over. And every state is a border state. Do you know what that means, right? Every state, because they fly them in. Can you imagine they fly them in? These people are, I'm starting to think they're stupid. They're just stupid. So that's gone as well, and other numbers came out along with it. Over 13,000 convicted murderers from jails in jail. And I told you, they're releasing them from jails, and these fake people, these stupid people, who say they don't release them from jail. They do, Mike. They do. You know that. You better elect him your senator, I'll tell you. As well as and these are specific numbers. That's why when they rounded them out, I said, I don't want them rounded out. I want the exact number. As well as 25,272 illegals convicted of rape, sex offense, or sexual assault, and in jail. These are people all in jail because they don't want them in jail. They're too expensive, and they don't want them in their countries. They're smarter than us. They give them to us. We're like a dumping ground. In total, 425,431 non-detained, meaning they're no longer in detention.
That's a military. So, like I said, I'm not going to watch the whole video, but you get the gist of what's going on with this border crisis. Not only are they flooding them in on the border, they're flying them in. That's why I say the United States government at the top and the bottom, at every level, have to be in cahoots with these other governments to let them in. This is a deal that they've brokered. So, what's going to happen, we shall see. But I'm going to go on to the next clip. We got Tim Walz versus DJ Vance preparing for presidential election. And you can see, presidential, not election, but debate. As you can see, this favorable, DJ Vance has a face you can hate. And Walz is just, he looks like an uncle next door with the picnic. I don't think he's very bright and intelligent, either one of these guys. But if you just looked at the faces, which a lot, you'd be surprised how many people vote off just your demeanor, just your face. Just your body language. And DJ Vance, I just don't think that was a great pick for Trump. It seems like a very bad pick. Nobody likes DJ. Nobody likes DJ Vance. Even most Republicans don't even like DJ Vance. Well, let's take a look at this clip.
Well, we are just 2 days away from the first and likely only vice presidential debate between Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. CBS News, which is hosting the debates, announced today that it will be up to the candidates to fact-check each other during Tuesday's debate. It's a stark difference from last month's presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reports from the White House.
Vice President Harris has touted having support from both Democrats and Republicans during her White House run. Sunday, she picked up another GOP endorsement from former Arizona Senator Jeff Flake.
I'll be supporting Kamala Harris for president and Tim Walz for vice president. In times like these, there is nothing more conservative than putting country over party.
Harris was in Arizona on Friday, visiting with Border Patrol agents and talking immigration. And that's exactly where the Trump campaign would...
I love when they do little photo ops like that. Like, she ain't been to the goddamn border since Biden was elected. That's her first time at the border. It's borderline comical, but it makes sense. They don't want her attached directly to it, even though everybody knew that she was in charge of it. I use that in quotation marks, but they didn't want her face attached to it, with all this, because that most people, Republican and Democrat, I'm talking about the people, they're not huge fans of all these immigrants pouring into the country. There's no doubt about that.
Like her to be. It's an issue where polling shows he has a sizable advantage.
4 years of the most incompetent border anywhere in the world in history. Kamala Harris traveled to the scene. In fact, she stood near where I put up border wall. That was her backdrop.
Meanwhile, both running mates are gearing up for the vice presidential debate Tuesday night in New York. Historically, the VP debate doesn't do much to change the minds of voters, and it may be in the interest of both men to simply avoid any major gaffes. An AP poll released last week shows Tim Walz's view.
And as you can see, the polls is not on DJ Vance's. But honestly, people ain't picking the president on the vice president. But sometimes it can help. You can give you a little pop. You're just looking for a percentage point here or there. If you pick up the right vice president and it can give you a point or two, oh man, that's huge. That's all you're looking for, man. These guys are equivalent of what you would call a special teams player in football. You know what I mean? Somebody who can punt the ball. If you can get it out on the two and put the defense out there, you really can, use that to your favor. But these guys aren't, moving or shaking anything like that. But DJ Vance, if you just looked at his face, he looks like a complete jerk and asshole. Is he that? I would assume so, but that would be an assumption on my part. Walz could be the greatest monster you've ever seen in your life behind the scenes, but his face looks like a white uncle next door for white people. I'm talking about niggas, we really care less, but I'm saying for white people, he has a better looking face than the other guy, because God knows you're not picking these two guys off their policies. There's no doubt about that.
More positively by voters than J.D. Vance. Republicans say Vance just needs to stick to the issues.
He could talk about the economy that Donald Trump fixed and that Harris and Biden broke. He can talk about the border that Trump fixed and they broke. He can talk about peace and stability around the world, which they don't even have a clue.
Right now, there are no more debates scheduled between Trump and Harris, which is 5 weeks to go before Election Day. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox 4 News.
Well, like I said before, we'll see how this all plays out. They're going to have a debate. Will it be highly viewed? I doubt it very seriously, but people will tune in. Will I cover it? Maybe so, maybe not. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. But it's going to be interesting nonetheless. Let's take a look at this next clip. I covered this case, these clips on Israel versus Hamas. And Hamas versus, not Hamas, but Hezbollah versus Israel. And Iran versus Israel. United States helping puppet all this stuff. United States, it's absolutely comical that the United States plays as if they want a de-escalation, while the whole time Israel is making sure this whole thing escalates. When this war first started, let me take a look at this clip. I just want to see the date. Let me just look at the date of when I made this clip. I made this 10 months ago.
What's happening, folks?
Hold on, let me go look at the exact date. I made this, it's almost been a year, November 1st of 2023, I made that. And in that video, as you can see, even in the thumbnail, it says Escalation. The reason why I put escalation in the thumbnail 10 months ago, because this war has escalated now. And I said it, I made maybe six videos on Israel versus Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran. In every video I said, it's 100% going to be an escalation. In all of the videos, if you go watch them, I'm pretty sure ain't nobody going to go through all of them, but there are people who watched every video. And I said in every video, there's going to be an escalation. Guess what didn't happen? It didn't escalate. Now they're fighting in Lebanon. So now they have killed I think it's the Hezbollah leader in Lebanon. So we'll see how that goes. But let's take a look at this clip right here. Israel launches more airstrikes at Lebanon.
And heading overseas now, Israel struck more targets in Lebanon today, pressing Hezbollah with new attacks after killing the group's leader as well as other leaders. This comes as the White House continues to push.
And let me say this before this video. This is only a 1 minute video, but let me say this. The problem with escalation is because now you would have to get other countries start getting involved, whether it be Turkey or whether it's Jordan, whether it's and Jordan would be on the United States and Israel side, believe it or not. Whether it be the Saudis, which is Arabia. Quick note, Saudi Arabia is not actually a country. It's called Arabia. The Saudis is the royal family of Saudi Arabia. It's the equivalent of calling United States America, Bush America. So that's why it's called Saudi Arabia. But if you get the Saudis involved, and you have to get Turkey involved, who will be on the side of Iran, and get Iran get involved, then Yemen which Yemen has slightly already got themselves involved. It's going to be a huge escalation. Do I think all that's going to happen? 100%, because Israel wants to crush everything in its vicinity to set it back at least 20, 25 years. So nobody can attack them. But the thing is, what they don't know is that, what they do know is that eventually there's going to be a real attack on Israel. And they can't shoot down everything. They do have something in their favor, which is the United States, who has all the ships off the coast, who can shoot down a lot. But if you shoot enough at one time, you can't shoot all that down. But that will be a major escalation. And that's where we're headed. We're already escalated. Now the next step is major escalation.
For a ceasefire and diplomatic solution in the Middle East, President Biden says an all-out war has to be avoided and that he plans to speak to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. As relations between the two leaders have been strained, the Biden administration did not receive advance warning of the Israeli strike that killed Hezbollah's leader. But National Security Council's John Kirby says that Hezbollah leadership being decimated works to Israel's advantage and is good for the region. U.S. officials tell CBS News that Hezbollah's missile capabilities have also been significantly degraded. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin.
And see, that's what I was talking about. They want to degrade any military capability around their vicinity. There's no doubt about that shit. They want to degrade all that. And not only that, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, also wants to keep these wars going because his people want him ousted. They want him out. They don't want his leadership. They tired of this this warmongering, because eventually, as the smallest country as Israel is, somebody's going to slip something through that's going to be devastating. So the people of Israel are sick of it. They don't want these wars. Wars are not fun. They're not profitable, especially in these kind of wars. This is not a profitable war for Israel.
And says the U.S. is determined to prevent Iran or its proxies from exploiting the situation and expanding the conflict. Austin warned that if...
And let me say this. Shout out to this sister, but it's amazing that it's amazing that when I was growing up, in order to be on TV, it was a weight requirement. There was like certain requirements to be on TV. There was an age. They wouldn't have like super older women on TV. All that's what I've seen women on TV now, boy, I mean, looking like skeletons. I'm talking about look like she's 75 years old. She's still doing the beat. She's been on the beat since 88. Ain't nothing wrong with this lady. Has a great talking voice, but it's just always astounds me covering the news, seeing the people who cover the news now. I'm happy for the sister that she got it, but it's just amazing that they don't care. You could be 300 pounds and cover the news now. That's unbelievable. But you could tell she ain't never missed a snack. No doubt about that.
Iran targets American personnel or interests then the U.S. will take every necessary measure to defend itself.
Yep. Looked like every time she ate a snack, she took a damn nap. On to the next clip, you guys. Legal expert New York mayor charges not trivial at all. Now, the mayor of New York has spoke out against illegal immigrants, and he's a Democrat. Now, if you're a public official, an elected official, and you're a Democrat, you cannot speak out against immigration. I don't care what you do, unless you're very powerful and have a lot of stuff on a lot of people to where they just can't oust you. You cannot. But this mayor of New York chose to speak on that, and now all of a sudden, all of these different things are coming out about him. All politicians are crooked. The government is crooked. It's all bribery, all of it. All they do is bribe each other and trick each other and use campaign finances illegally. They all do it. So let's take a look at this clip.
Turkish nationals, this in exchange for political favors. Adams' lawyer addressed the charges outside the Manhattan courthouse.
This case isn't even a real case. This is the airline upgrade corruption case.
Joining me now, MSNBC legal correspondent Lisa Rubin. Welcome, Lisa. Really interesting. You heard Adams' attorney there minimizing this case. He's placing the blame, in fact, on one staffer. You know that federal prosecutors don't indict someone unless they think they can get a conviction. So are these charges as trivial as they're making them out to be?
No, Alex. In fact, they're not trivial at all, because one of the central allegations here is that Mayor Adams, in exchange for unlawful campaign contributions and other benefits, meaning free travel tickets as well as upgrades, persuaded the fire department of the city of New York to grant a certificate of occupancy for a 36-story building owned by the Turkish government and in which they wanted to house the Turkish consulate. That means that there is theoretically an unsafe 30-plus story building in this city right now for which approvals were granted not because they deserved it, but because the mayor directly asked for it in exchange for favors from the Turkish government.
But the funny thing is, that's how government works. We're doing things for favors in exchange for money. And obviously, Mayor Adams has pissed off the wrong people. There's no doubt about that. Because all of a sudden these things came to. He's been doing this. It's not. They even showed you the charges. All these. He didn't do all this shit at one day. This is over several years since he's been the mayor. So that's why I say they all have stuff on each other. And if you get out of line, they'll drop the hammer on you. Listen to me. If he gets out of this, that means he got in line. That means he'll never get out of line again. And that means next time he'll do whatever they tell him to do.
To me, that's quite a serious allegation.
Adams is set to appear back in court Wednesday.
And let me say, this lady this might seem a little far-fetched, but this lady on the right in black, this is my assumption. She's a witch and she's into witchcraft. And a lot of times I like to look at what books are these people reading in the back. That's always, and as you see, she got a book over her shoulder, 1,000 Days of Magic. And some people say, oh, no, that's just a book. No, man, you'd be surprised what these people are into behind the scenes. Witchcraft, Luciferianism, ritualistic abuse, all type of shit. Now, like I said, that's an assumption. I could be wrong. But the books that be on their shelves, it tells a hell of a story.
His lawyers are planning to file a motion to dismiss, but how likely is it they're going to be successful after such a short time after the mayor was indicted?
Yeah, I was very surprised to see Alex Spiro, who is the mayor's lawyer that we saw in that video there, announce in court last week that he was intending to move to dismiss so rapidly. We often see criminal defendants move to dismiss. They are rarely successful. And more importantly, we rarely see somebody move to dismiss before they get their arms around the discovery that they're entitled to from the government, be it state or local. So here, they are trying to say that just on the face of the legal charges here, there could be no crime. I'm interested to see how Mr. Spiro makes that argument, but I'm not expecting it to be a particularly successful one, Alex.
So look, there's a lot to go from here to a conviction, but were he to be convicted, what would he be facing?
And like I remember I said a while ago, look how old. It used to be young, pretty reporters or young, pretty in-studio anchors, and now these people are, goddamn. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with it, but it does help to look at a little piece of beauty. You ain't got to be a supermodel, but my God, anytime your neck got all that turkey giblet at the bottom, who wants to look at that?
If Mayor Adams were to be convicted here, he would be facing some decades in prison. You know, and it would depend on the exact nature of the conviction.
He's not going to
There
prison
are
for no
5
decades.
charges here.
That's
One
out.
of them is a conspiracy charge that can be quite broad. But the other thing I want to note for you and our viewers is this is one of multiple investigations into the Adams administration. We don't know to what extent the mayor himself is a target of those other investigations, or if they solely focus on.
And let's look at some of the charges. Campaign contributions, FBI search home of chief fundraiser, nightclub enforcement, New York Police Department commissioner resigned, approval of Turkish consulate building, Adams phone seized, public school contracts, New York school chancellor plans to resign. Anytime all these people plan resigning, they start snatching the feast. These are people who possibly could have lied for you. These are people who owe you favors. There's no doubt about that. They start snatching that from under you, which puts him in a very, very tight spot. That's why I say if he gets out of this, you'll know he's on a tighter leash now. There's no doubt, because now you know you're facing real charges. You know, look, is he surprised that they know that he was doing this? Absolutely not. They were okay with it as long as you stay in line.
City Hall officials and others in his campaign world, to the extent that the mayor himself is facing additional charges, that obviously would add to that time were he convicted. And one of the things I'd be focused on are allegations of obstruction of justice, even in this indictment, for which he's not facing an obstruction of justice charge, but the feds are clearly signaling, hey, if you and others don't play ball with us, this could be what's coming next. I saw that as a shot across the bow at potential cooperators, less than the mayor himself, but that doesn't mean that the mayor couldn't face that charge as well, Alex.
Wow, sobering all of this. Okay, my friend.
Sobering all of this.
Open invitation.
5 months ago. Now listen, 5 months ago, both of these people was a complete support of Mayor Eric Adams of New York. Look how quick they can all switch you. MSNBC is a huge Democratic shield. They pump out a bunch of Democratic propaganda, and then just like that, if they don't like what you said or what you're doing or how you rolling, they'll all turn on you at the drop of a hat. Even this witch on the right with her 1,000 days of magic. Let's take a look at this. Family grapples with Helen's destruction. Now, we know these hurricanes come through and cause a lot of destruction. I remember growing up, a lot of people say, I wouldn't want to live in California. You guys have earthquakes. I'd be like, well, shit, you got people down south Florida and these areas down there, they have hurricane season. That's something you get every year. Ain't no such thing as earthquake season. But every year, these people get wiped out. And like Cat Williams said, we're going to rebuild every year. Let's take a look at this clip.
Todd and Carrie Bowen say they expected destruction at their cabin by the Steenhatchee River. That's what News Channel 5 meteorologist Henry Rothenberg and I saw as we traveled to their property for the first time since the storm. And destruction was what they found at the end of the journey. Their cabin was lifted off its foundation, the flood lines visible on the outside of the home. National Weather Service data shows the storm surge reached 9 feet in Steenhatchee. Water lines in another structure show water came up even further than that on their property. It's a place, Carrie says, they've made lots of family memories over the years. But they are grateful it's a vacation spot, and their permanent home in Jenna made it through the surge.
My daughter's best friend.
And recognize that others were not as lucky. They say the community's resilience is what is getting them through.
All the way down the coast, all the way Horseshoe Beach, Cedar Key. I mean, it's just a bunch of strong, resilient people that, you know, love this place.
In Steenhatchee, Kendall Brandt, ABC 27.
Yeah, that's very interesting when you see those type of cases. And, you know, that's one thing about Mother Nature. That's one thing that don't see race, color, or creed. It'll destroy anything and everything that's in its way. There's no doubt about that. Let's take a look at this clip. Mexican cartels flood U.S. with fentanyl, causing 200 plus deaths daily. Daily. Now, the United States is in the damn catch-22. Could they stop this? 100%. You would have to put a huge military presence at the border. You would have to give long sentences. You would have to, you know what I mean? If we don't like how something is shoot to kill. You could implement certain rules to make it not worth it. But obviously, the United States make a lot of money off the drug trade. They always have. That's why, if you ever seen the TV show Snowfall, we know that the government was involved in selling drugs and distribution of drugs. Now, there are people within the government who want to stop it, but there's people who are more powerful who want to keep it going because they understand the financial aspects of it, and that the United States benefit from it financially hugely by being able to tax. Because drug dealers, when they buy all these cars and Ferraris, they can tax that. They make money off that. So if you completely eliminate that, you're talking about shit, you talking about $1 trillion a year out of the budget. They can't have that. Let's take a look at this clip.
It's 80 times stronger than morphine, hundreds of times stronger than heroin, and less than a single pill of it can kill. More than 200 Americans dying each and every day from overdosing on fentanyl, the bulk of which is coming from just 2 cartels in Mexico. News Nation correspondent Jorge Ventura joining us live tonight with a look at what is driving this massive epidemic here in the U.S. Jorge.
Well, Natasha, when it comes to the substance of fentanyl, no other substance even comes close just to the death toll that it causes every single day. It claims the lives of 200 Americans, and the majority of the fentanyl being brought into the United States illegally is being made by 2 powerful Mexican cartels, the Sinaloa cartel and Jalisco New Generation, who show no signs of slowing down the relentless fentanyl operations.
And that's why I say the United States, listen to me. They know where all the fentanyl is being made at. They know that. Even if they don't know every single spot, they know the majority of the spots. They know where all of these cartel leaders are at. If they wanted to, we just seen Israel drop bombs and kill Hezbollah leaders just like that. They're decapitating their leadership. United States could easily do that. It's not like Mexico has some great military where you could just say, oh, you know, Mexico, they're going to be mad and upset. What the fuck is Mexico going to do? They couldn't do nothing. When you drop bombs from the air, it's over. Yeah, ain't no arguing, ain't no talking, ain't none of that. That's why I say they can easily send drones in there and drop tomahawks and bunker buster, what they call them, bunker buster bombs that go, the bomb don't blow up to penetrate 50, 100 feet underground. So they can stop this easily, but obviously we all know they don't want to.
Mexican cartels have become the masterminds behind America's fentanyl crisis. The Sinaloa and Jalisco cartels are the main players sourcing precursor chemicals directly from China. They've used a variety of tricks, mislabeled packages, secretive codes, hidden in photos, and encrypted messages, all to bypass international regulations and law enforcement. Payments are made in untraceable cryptocurrency, and once these chemicals reach Mexico, they're turned into deadly fentanyl in hidden labs. One of the leaders behind this operation is Ismael El Mayo Zambada, the co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel, after being arrested by...
Damn, I thought that was El Chapo. Let's look at him. When they first shot, I said, what the fuck is El Chapo doing back in business? Look at him again.
deadly fentanyl in hidden labs. One of the leaders...
Man, I thought that's got to be El Chapo cousin. That's got. They look like fucking El Chapo. Why the hell all these cartel leaders look like this? They fat head, fat face. They look dirty and rubbish, and these motherfuckers is billionaires. It's crazy.
Behind this operation is Ismael El Mayo Zambada, the co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel, after being arrested by American authorities in July. The 76-year-old has been charged with drug trafficking,
he's in jail,
and money laundering. Under El Mayo's leadership, the cartel became one of the most violent and powerful drug organizations, responsible for distributing thousands of pounds of fentanyl into the United States.
Ain't that about a bitch? He set all that shit up. It's working better than ever. And now he got to go to jail, but it ain't stopped. That's why I say they arresting these cartel leaders, but they don't decapitate the leadership. If you arrest just the leader of the cartel, do you know how easy it is to fill that role of the cartel leader? That's so easy to fill that. Even if he don't fill it, another cartel will fill it. Sometimes they do that on purpose, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, if you drop a bomb on them while they having a meeting, totally different ball game. You decapitate that shit. You start doing that type of shit, you start assassinating their family members and shit, totally different ball game.
Numbers are staggering. In 2021, the DEA seized about 23 million fentanyl pills, nearly 7,000 pounds of powder. Fast forward to last year, and those numbers skyrocketed. Over 80 million pills and close to 12,000 pounds of fentanyl powder seized. It's not slowing down. So far this year, over 37 million pills, more than 5,400 pounds of fentanyl powder have already been confiscated. That's enough to make over 269 million deadly doses. But behind every statistic is a story. Stephanie Turner, a mother from Texas, lost her son Tucker to fentanyl poisoning. Tucker was a young man training for a triathlon. When he was struggling with sleep and anxiety in a desperate attempt to find relief, he purchased just one pill on social media, a pill that cost him his life.
Fentanyl is deep.
He purchased one pill online and he died. I don't know about that. That sounds a little... Now I'm suspicious now. Do I believe that he purchased... Can you purchase one pill online and die? Obviously, we all know that. But I got a feeling he was dibbling dabbling in drugs long before this. Yeah, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying the one pill. I snorted one line of coke and it was over. Feasible, but it's a tough sell.
A whole generation of brilliant minds. If you don't receive medication from a pharmacy, count that it has fentanyl. One pill does kill.
Government officials are struggling to stop the influx. A California task force seized over 8.8 million fentanyl pills this year alone, while Texas enacted laws to persecute fentanyl-related deaths as murders. Meanwhile, the Biden administration renewed partnership with China.
Yeah, but the thing is, you punishing the people here in America, and you're not getting to the source. I mean, basically, you go into a tree and you picking off leaves. Tell them we killing the tree. No, you're not. Just keep growing new leaves. You have to dig up the tree at the root. You got to go to the root of the problem. You got to dig it up. That's why I say they got to bomb that shit in Mexico. Will they do it? No, but still, I'm just saying, like, when you hear that, this is a young black man, all of a sudden, he's selling fentanyl pills. All of a sudden, he sells some shit and somebody die. He pays the ultimate price while they keep growing and selling more and more fentanyl out of Mexico. Unbelievable.
And aims to cut off precursor chemical supplies, fueling the crisis.
And for states on the southern border, this is a top issue. Texas DPS says that just since 2021, they've already seized over 500 million lethal doses of fentanyl. That's enough to kill everyone in the U.S. and Mexico. The most frightening part about that, Natasha, is just about the millions of lethal doses that they are unable to catch here in Texas alone.
Yeah, that really is a staggering statistic. Jorge Ventura with that live report in San Antonio tonight. Thank you.
Most of the stuff that they catch and that's the stuff they want them to catch. Seriously, that's plainly obvious at this point. Ridiculous. But this is something that's going to go on. And this fentanyl is, out of all the races, it hurts white people the most. There's no doubt about that. This is their crack epidemic. There's no doubt about that. Let's take a look at this last clip of the day. Police arrest 18 men in online child luring sting operation. I love these cases. Only thing I don't like about it is it don't go up high enough. Obviously, we know that there's damn near 500,000 kids go missing in America every year. There's no doubt that there's a huge pedophile ring that's ran by the upper elites, allegedly. But when you see these type of things, it's good. Good. At least you're getting somebody off the street.
New at 6:30 from our 8 News Now investigators, disturbing details emerging from a police sex sting that happened in North Las Vegas.
Police arrested 18 men, all accused of meeting police decoys they thought were minors. 8 News Now investigator Kyle Payne obtained and reviewed all 18 police reports. Kyle.
Denise Bryan, when one of those 18 men was arrested after 11 p.m. one night this summer, he asked,
You see, look at the standards for the news now. Where the fuck did they get Paul Bunyan Jr. from? Look at this man's beard. Where's the decorum and the class and the dignity and the respect? This man look like he's been drinking fucking Budweisers all night and smoking wooden pipes. This is outrageous.
police quote, "You guys catching predators?" And reading the details of all 18 police reports, one might draw the same conclusion. All 18 men were nabbed by North Las Vegas.
Let's look at these guys again. I like to see. I like to get a look at the faces.
Reading the details of all 18 police reports, one might draw the same conclusion.
And this all. I wonder why they blurred that man out. He got blurred out. He must be in politics. Yeah. But let's look at the races of these men: Mexican, Asian, Mexican, white. I'm assuming that's white, but I'm not sure. It could be Asian, Mexican, biracial. This motherfucker look like a whacked out Bart Simpson with this flat top. You got an Asian. He like a damn tadpole. This ain't no regular Mexican. He like an El Salvadorian, a Honduras. Yeah, you got a white Mexican. I'm assuming that's Mexican, white, Asian, white. And this is pretty par for the course. When you see these clips like this, a lot of times it'd be majority like this. Every once in a while you might get one black dude sprinkled in there. But majority you get is white and Mexican. Them are some of the horniest motherfuckers. I ain't gonna lie to you. Covering the news over the last few years, I get to go over a lot of clips. And watching these clips, you get to see what race is doing what the most. Fentanyl use, white people. Methamphetamines, white people. Child pedophilia, Mexicans and whites. And believe it or not, there's a high sprinkling of Asians, considering Asians are a very, very small part of the population. There's a lot of pedophilia coming out of the Asian race, more than what the numbers. I would say if you went far as the ratio of the people that's here in the United States that's Asian, they're high up there with the white. They right there with the whites and the Mexicans. As you can see on this screen, it's 1, 2, 3. I think it's like 4 Asians on here. That's a lot. But white boys and Mexicans love them kids. God damn, they love them kids. Well, you can't trust them.
18 men were nabbed by North Las.
Let me say this. I don't mean all white people, all Mexicans, but I'm just going by the groups. Cause if you look down here, you just see so many. Dude, this Alabama, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I ain't never seen that many black people. I was talking about all these Asian Mexicans, but they got one in Alabama. Look at all these niggas down. Look at all these niggas down. What the hell's going on in Alabama? Usually I see a lot of them in Florida, California. They have a lot of them here in Vegas where I stay, but black people usually they're really not that high on that. But Alabama, I guess so. Look at that. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10. That's a lot. But usually it's not like that from what I cover.
Las Vegas police in a sting which included Metro, the FBI, and North Las Vegas and Henderson PDs. They range in age from 22 all the way to 60, but regardless of the age of these men, the decoys with whom they were speaking were generally posing as 13 to 15-year-old boys and girls. Like this man, who thought he was meeting a 15-year-old girl to whom he spoke graphically of sex, providing the decoy photos of himself, but when he got busted, he told cops in his own defense, quote, "I knew what this was." That he was there to, quote, catch the sick SOB, and that he only said sexual things to the decoy because he was, quote...
He tried to flip it like, I'm here to catch you. He tried to flip it. I'm here to catch you, motherfucker, you sick bastard. Like, no, buddy. You the one sending sick photos to a 13-year-old. What are you talking about? Time to go to jail.
Along, and wanted to, quote, catch her in another lie. He, like several of the 18 men, agreed to take a polygraph and write an apology letter. He is now out of jail on $20,000 bail. And there's this man who admitted to police the boy he was...
Damn, he look constipated. What the fuck wrong with his face? Oh, man. Like he about to shit a child out. This is unbelievable.
Talking to said he was 13, but he too was talking with a decoy. When he got busted, he told police he brought condoms, but, quote, for sexual encounters with older men.
Oh, he wants to have sex with them boys. That's ridiculous. See, castration. We need castration. We gotta have old Bible.
And has a
eye for an eye.
And needs help. Initially, he told the cops he wanted to get caught and never intended on having sex with a 13-year-old boy. But eventually, he said he wanted to do just that. This man in his 60s who spoke with a decoy posing as the father of an 8-year-old girl. And the two discussed, quote, sexual contact with that girl that included taking off her clothing, touching her body, and other things not suitable for television regardless of age. He told police he wanted to talk about his side of the story, that his conversation was, quote, all fantasy. Even though he told the decoy, quote, fantasy is safer than reality, but if you really are real, let's meet. That man declined a polygraph. Some of these defendants will be indicted by a grand jury, according to court documents. Others had their cases moved from justice court to district court, Brian.
All right, Kyle, thank you for that. All 18 men were charged with luring a minor, a child, with a computer to engage in sex.
That's unbelievable. But it's the world we stay in. There's more child pedophilia going on than you would ever believe. There's no doubt about that. There's a lot of sickos out there. That's why you got to watch your kids at all times. You can't trust nobody at this point. Every city, almost every state has these same lure and sting operations where they try to catch these guys, not try, but catch these guys who are trying to have interactions with underage, both boys and girls. There's no doubt about that. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been Sports, Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective. I'm here for the news. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took you on a Mark Robinson is a black Nazi ride. Peace.